Salut pour tous et soyez les bienvenus dans le programme Planète Équitable avec Adesanete. For those who are following our series of programs on the Brazilian Amazon, we are going to reach now the recent history of our region. We know that the prehistory of the Amazon was marked by the extensive and intensive use of fire. There were never so many fire in the planet as in the prehistory of the Amazon, due to the fact that they have a lot of infectious disease. Then we saw that all the attempts to we saw that the first attempt to colonize the region comes from the Spanish navigator who lied about it. He said that here was the Amazon warriors, and he established a fund. It was an Amazon fund from the past. He collected money from the French, from the English, and from the Dutch, and they claimed the north of the Brazil for themselves. So we have the Guianas today because this Spanish guy were taking money from those guys. So that's what they were looking into actually. And then we saw that many attempts to establish populations or to enter into the jungle was reflected by this infectious disease, and the region became known as the Green Hell. After that, we have the King of Portugal coming to Brazil, and the start of this sect of the tree adorers, the people that worship native tree species in Brazil, and this is because of the ruling of the king. He says those were the trees for the king. And of course, the colons, people that doesn't have many intelligence or wisdom or access to information, they started worshiping native trees, and this remains up to today in our country. Well, then, back on the last century, on the 30s, US and Europe start ventilating the idea that the indigenous tribe that lived in Brazil, they have the right to self-determine the future. Those guys, they are so kind. So they figured out that the way to internationalize the Amazon was to give power to the indigenous communities, make them independent from Brazil, and of course, depending on them. That's exactly what they did in the past. So the creation of environmental reserves and indigenous land in Brazil was promoted by these people, which were and which are interested on internationalizing our territory, as they did with the Guianas in the past. But we will see that in the 50s, on the last century, Brazil reacts to that, and we'll see how. Let God's peace and the love that builds be our weapons on the daily struggle for justice. Adesanete for tous les amis africains.